Here I'd like to address an unfortunate series of events that have been happening happening in silence, by the way, in front of our noses, but not often addressed, if at all, talked about. And this is particularly within the Sangha community, within the monastic community of the Theravada tradition, specifically because I belong to that tradition myself as a bhikkhu. I wanted to briefly say a few words in an attempt to respond to questions coming up from students that are, they're undergoing a series of emotional reactions to what they have been hearing and seeing in some bhikkhus and some teachers that are, to put it lightly, problematic, because they do not agree with the teachings of Lord Buddha. Now, Lord Buddha has made it a point in countless places throughout the suttas where a sage, a muni, a knowledgeable person, a wise person, especially a bhikkhu, a teacher, need to avoid getting into disputes, getting into controversial subjects and things of that nature where there's debating going on. Unfortunately, by nature, human beings are very contentious, especially in this generation, in the world today. And bhikkhus are no exception, I am sad to say. I've seen this as an upasaka, as a layman for over 25, 27, almost 30 years. And I see it as a bhikkhu now. There's a lot of politics that goes on. Unfortunately, there are ethnic or quote-unquote traditional, adhering to specific tradition, that is, and not Buddhist tradition, mostly ethnic, from a certain culture, let's say, in Southeast Asia. Tendencies and ways of doing things, behaving in a certain way. Again, mind you, these are post-Buddhist, post-Dhamma. And now, so you have all those accumulations, and now you have bhikkhus coming in from the 60s, baby boomer generation, influenced by various different Western cultural influences, taking on the robes. The job of an upajjhaya is a preceptor, someone who ordains. In this case, must be a bhikkhu for at least 10 years, and they need to be a number of bhikkhus present, at least 5, presiding there. Bhikkhus meaning they must have the upasampada, the higher ordination as well, present, in order for a candidate who must have gone through some, screening processes and proven oneself to be adequate. A person who is wise enough, clean in their heart, clean in their intentions, coming into the Sangha with the right objectives. And when I say objectives, I actually have to correct myself. It is a singular, not plural. Objective. It must be for the attainment of liberation from suffering. This is the primary goal. Anything less than this, then it means you have one or more chips on your shoulder to prove, to do something with this role. You see, the robes can never serve as a microphone. They can never turn into an dais, a platform, a lectern. They can never serve. That's not the intention. You're giving up. You're giving up. Your head hairs, your body hairs, your nails, your teeth, your skin, your sinews, your heart, your body, your blood. You're giving up your name. You're giving up your family. You're giving up your mother and father. You're giving up your culture. You're giving up your gender. Okay? So it is ludicrous. It is stupid. It is foolish. It is idiotic that today we have bhikkhus who are talking about gender issues, identifications. They're making claims that I identify myself as a queer, for example, bhikkhu. What are you, stupid? Are you that dumb? Who ordained you? What process did you go through? You missed the entire boat. This is not what we go forth for. But this is not the only issue. This is one. It's beyond silly. The robes have a specific role. You know, the robes first would come from a cremation ground. They used to be covering up a dead body. A dead body. So when a bhikkhu is wearing his robes, he is trying to acclimate to what it feels like to be dead. To what it feels like to be dead to your gender. To your sexual orientation. To your skin color. To your cultural biases. Because what you have today, you have many Western bhikkhus ordained in the Buddhist tradition, in Theravada tradition, somehow slipped through the cracks, I guess, who are advocating their own cultural biases, abusing their position as a bhikkhu. If we're not talking about the Dhamma, then we better shut up. Yes, I said the word shut up. 2 words, right? Keep your mouth shut and sit and practice. 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 For what? To become an influencer? To have a voice in the world? To have a voice in the Sangha? Why don't you eliminate the voices in your head? Why don't you get rid of your kilesas in your heart? And please do not sully the robes that you do not deserve to wear. Unless your heart is intent on Kinasava, the destruction of the asavas in your heart. To taste, at least attain sotapatti. At least. That is what Lord Buddha said. We don't wear the robes like any other religious, from a different religious tradition, a representative of their religious path, the way they wear theirs. Ours is and must be significant. There is an end of the path promised by Lord Buddha. There's a graduation date, point, graduation, which means arahantship for us. And that is when a person is diligently working to make a decision, obviously, to walk away from a lay life into becoming a bhikkhu. There must be a difference. So when I hear these bhikkhus talking about social issues and cultural biases with their cultural biases, and trying to change the Dhamma, downplay the teachings of Lord Buddha, making it more palatable to today's culture that is barren of any virtue, dead of any kind of responsibility, and just becoming a mouthpiece of whatever comes out of the news, whatever comes out of world leaders who come out of World Economic Forum, for example, and all those types of nonsensical agendas. I'm seeing this. Bhikkhus have become soft. We beat around the bush. Bhikkhus are afraid to declare openly the teachings of Lord Buddha when it goes contrary to what is being said and practiced and taught today. Well, what kind of a bhikkhu is that? What kind of a teacher is that? What kind of a person is that? A person without a backbone. So, as individuals, not just bhikkhus, of course, this is for everyone, because a bhikkhu is supposed to be a role model. A role model of what? Of how to relinquish. In Pali, the word is patinisagga. To be able to give up. Give up what? All your biases, all your own agendas. The chips on the shoulder have to be dropped before you put on the case, your robes. So what we have is, unfortunately, this is supposed to happen. By the way, Lord Buddha said, when he was asked repeatedly, different occasions, we see this in the suttas. And by the way, I encourage these bhikkhus, so-called individuals, who claim all these, whatever is the flavor of the day type of a topic, to go ahead and read the suttas and read the Vinaya and see whether their own issues, like gender issues and things like that, or sexual orientation and all that jazz, whether they hold a significant role in Lord Buddha's teachings. I encourage them to go ahead and disrobe as soon as possible, because they are really bringing to themselves much harm, because they are trying to shake the faith with their blameworthy, very blameworthy behavior in their speech and definitely in their thought, because whatever they're thinking, that's what's coming out of their mouth, and in their action. There's one bhikkhu, a Mahatera, an Ajahn, who even writes articles comparing the Theravada to Mahayana. And you read the article. It's basically on bodhisattva and arahantship from the Theravada tradition, and the bodhisattva ideal from the Mahayana and Vajrayana. And you look, and you look. My mom used to say, looking during the daytime with a flashlight to try to find something. Well, I was using that same method to try to find what he is trying to say. There was no voice. If you could deduce anything from that article, which went on for pages, is that this Theravadan, Thai forest tradition, ordained Ajahn in a prestigious position as an abbot, writing this article is being apologetic, trying to build bridges between the Mahayana Bodhisattva ideal and being an Arahant. Well, what is that? Well, this is the ending of the sasana. That's what it is. We need not be afraid in a culture of grayness, tasteless grayness, where you want to please everyone. So you have a group of bhikkhus who speak and speak and speak, and you at the end are trying to find out, what did he just say? What was it? You don't see that in the suttas when Lord Buddha or the Arya Savakas, the noble disciples, lay and the chief disciples and other bhikkhus, arahants, when they talk, it's very definitive. You know what is right view from wrong view, and what we have today is a plenty of wrong view. And sadly enough, it is coming in the form of bhikkhus' robes. Robes. Because what's underneath it is a totally different thing than what Lord Buddha taught, what this sasana is all about. The teachings of Lord Buddha's dispensation is not this. So this is what I'm trying to say to all of you, the students and everyone who is kind of confused and reaching out, trying to understand, Bhante, what is this I'm hearing? What is this I'm seeing in the world today, in this bhikkhus and this and that? What is this? Is this true? No, it's not. Is this true as in, is this valid? Is this something that finds its roots in the Lord Buddha's teachings? No, it's not. You don't have to take my word for it, of course. Go ahead and test it out. See it. Look for it. Because what you have here today is a collection of putujanas in robes. Okay? And I'm sad to say, as the days go by, the frequency of there being arahants, anagamins, sakadagamins, and sotapannas, the frequency is becoming less and less. The numbers are reducing. The challenges are far greater now for a person to become a noble disciple. I will add that as well. Why? Because of the pollution that is being produced, introduced, and diffused into the sasana. But that's normal because we have anicca. The teachings will disappear and we're just living through them. So I don't encourage you to go ahead and dispute with these characters. They are doing much harm to them. It's like the image that my father used to give situations where people like this is somebody who's standing on a tree, standing on a thick branch, while sawing it. The problem is that he is standing on the outer side of the outside portion of the branch while he is sawing off the branch nearest to the trunk. But what's going to happen? He's going to break his own neck. That's what's going to happen. When we misrepresent the teaching of Lord Buddha, obviously we become blameworthy. It means there is no hiri and ottappa, first of all. And the wise will chastise us, will criticize us. But even worse, the damage that we cause into the very fabric of the universe, because we're going against the Dhamma, And that is bad news for the person doing it, because that will take you straight away to hell. Lord Buddha says, deposit it, as if deposited there in hell. There's no time delay the moment you close your eyes last, at the end of this life. So my encouragement is for those bhikkhus who are in robes to really shake it off and wake up and really come back to the real purpose of why we are in robes. There's no shame in realizing this path is not yours because you're advocating something else. You're using it as a platform for something else other than the Dhamma. There's no shame in disrobing. Go ahead and disrobe. However, don't sully the robes with your poisonous, dirty concepts and wrong views. That has no place in the Dhamma, for your own sake and for the sakes of so many people. We are here to help, inculcate, bring out, and spread right view and panya, not avidya.